So guys, Nigerians are reacting to Bola Ahmed Tinubu leaving the country for France for a medical trip.
Tinubu was supposed to be at the tribunal that day. He sent the representative. This is the same thing he did during campaign. He will not go for debates. He'll be sending people. Now he has gone to France. Why didn't he send a representative to go and get his treatment on his behalf? They know the things they want to do. They know the things that they care about. And it does not involve the masses. And that is why it is time for us to really continue to step up. We have to make this change. They think it's business as usual. I can guarantee you that these people are afraid. They don't want to show it. Because they've never seen a thing like this before. Four people tweeting in a room have turned to a major pain on their body. And we need to continue to stay because this is not the time to give up. We need to continue. And I know that at the end of the day, this mandate will be mandated.
So guys, it might shock you to know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not present in the court on the first day that the Election Tribunal started its hearing. And we just had the second day today and he was equally nowhere to be found in the courtroom, only for us to hear that he has departed Nigeria for France on a medical trip. It might even shock you to know that one of his spokesperson came on Twitter to say that he has gone on a walking trip. I mean, walking trip. Is it as a president or as a former governor of Lagos State or as a president-elect? On what walking trip? Has he gone to represent Nigeria already? So guys, these people keep fooling us, and that is why it is high time for the Nigerian people to stand up to take back their country from the hands of these people who are just out to destroy Nigeria. And as you can see, the Obidients gathered together with Aisha Yesufu to discuss on this matter. So guys, let me allow you just watch this video. Take your time and watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.
It was broad daylight robbery, and no matter what they do, this time around, they will not succeed. And Aisha, for me, I think they said only the guilty are afraid. These people are scared because of their evil ways. They don't trust doctors. It's not like it cannot be done in Nigeria. Even if they build the better than the hospitals they are going abroad to get treated, they don't trust that. Yeah, for me, I think it's more of that. It is the lack of trust. They are scared. They don't know what will happen because when they're at home. So that's why they have to run abroad. And sometimes even when it's not medical, when it's medical, they lie that it's rest or something else, because they don't want to divulge what is going on. So, but I think that's why it's so necessary to have leaders we can trust, that the nation will take a cue behind them. That, as you said, if somebody says, I will do this, then we should take your word to the bank and know it's as good as cash. So, but because the government for years has been, built on the foundation of lies, so they feel like Nigerians will always just, shout on social media, shout at the beer parlor, and then forget and go on their businesses. Because Nigerians, know how to struggle no matter what. But then they are taking advantage of us because of that. So for me, because I was asking myself, who from abroad will the president of America get a ticket before he's swearing in, decide to come and have holiday in Nigeria? Nobody, no president anywhere has flown to Nigeria to say, I'm taking a break because I'm going to be having a lot of work to do. Like you said, I think it's just an insult to the intelligence of Nigerians. Such people should not be allowed to even come near the seat of local government chairman, talk less of presidency of Nigeria. So I think we need to expose all these things. For me, even though it's alleged, but with all the alleged has become realities now. Tinubu, wherever, anytime he has to go, because he's desperate with the case going on. So he knows it's a tough time, but he's trying to escape from facing it in case they bring him there. That's why I sent somebody like Lalong. So to me, it's all a scam, thinking that they can just use money to silence the judiciary, silence Nigerians, and then he goes ahead, then they just comes in for the swearing in. But it will not happen. We are not letting it happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I like that the way you put that. We are not letting this happen, because one of the things that we've had a lot is where people just give up. Oh, we can't trust them. Oh, there's nothing coming out. Then you give up. No, for me, I'm like, I say we are not in a romantic relationship with the judiciary. I don't even have business trusting them. Our own is to overwhelm them with evidence, so that they have no choice other than to ensure that justice is what is actually given. And it's really fantastic with the court ruling that we've seen. One, the Adeleke case, it's been established that beavers is what it can be used to. It's not beavers is admissible in the court, and what can be used to ascertain whether there's overvoting or there's no overvoting, the number of people that were accredited. So that's one thing, which was what in 2015 did not happen, and that was why Wike was able to become governor, where they said the card reader was not admissible in the court, and that really took us back. So we have that. Now we are hearing reports. INEC is saying that some of their results are missing and all of that, and we will see. And if they say it, where are those results? Because up to now, the results have not been uploaded 100%, and we need those numbers to be able to come in. Even with some of the results we have, that we have states where you can clearly see that even on the IREF that Peter Obi won, but yet what they read out, it was to APC, to Tinubu, that they gave the winning to. So it's interesting, and like you said, it's something that they are saying that it's not the normal way that they will wiggle their way out of it. So what we keep doing is to focus on that judiciary and not give up on it. Thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure hearing from you. Well done.
Yes. You must greet my brother. Tell him I'm looking forward to coming for the swearing in. Then we will go to Shegalinku.
Absolutely. And it will be party after party after party after party. Bring on our dancing shoes and all dance. I'm sure it will be such a joyous moment. I mean, just looking at what happened with the Adeleke's case, and where the people of Osun State were really happy about it. When someone wins, it's there. When
it's obvious.
The people is stolen, there's a difference. Somebody wins and there's gloom in the nation. I mean, it doesn't all go well. But when it's really what the people want, we actually see that. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me let others talk. Then
I see Deborah. Yeah, Deborah is the next one on online. Deborah, please kindly go ahead and unmute yourself, and if possible, put on your video so that we'll be able to spotlight you. Thank you so much.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Good morning from here. Are you able to put on your video, please?
No, sorry, I'm not able to.
Okay, so go ahead then.
Okay, so well done in all that you've been doing.
Thank you.
God continue to strengthen and keep you in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
And also, the other man that just finished speaking with you, you both have been doing wonderfully. Concerning Tinubu's going out for treatment, this and that, me and you know that is not true. Or for toothache or whatever, or to rest. Well, probably, I think, like we've all been speculating, like it's very obvious, he's going for treatment, something serious. But because just to make it light so that people don't say toothache, they don't even balance their talk. They don't seem to weigh, the impact of what the statement they're putting out there. They just say.
So the toothache, the dentist is Buhari.
Okay, the toothache is Buhari.
Toothache is Buhari.
Okay. Okay.
I
Anyway,
see Ghanaian smile. It's not smile. It's just so funny. The two things we have two things going on. Two things is Buhari. Then this one says
okay.
we are going on a walking visit. But
Okay. Okay. Anyway, to summarize, to cut short everything, for two of them to be out, if really we want to, look deep into it, to me, it looks like, they are going in there. We are still, we are having a president that's still puppets in the hand of the UK. So to me, perhaps they've gone there to marshal out, their next moves and all that. Maybe with Prince Charles and the UK people, leadership. So that's why we must insist on having a different breed like Peter. Because these people are just there because they're putting people who are, almost lifeless to come and lead us. And I just want to also encourage that our youth need to still continue to step it up, because we can't continue like this for too long. In my own anticipation, my own conclusion is that they are there for more than what they are claiming to be. Because if you check, Buhari, was always going there, even when he just got into power, and only God knows the kind of thing they are doing, the details. Maybe they are, the kind of operation they are working on these people. Perhaps when they come into power to be, just become fools, puppets in their hands, that they become so, unsympathetic to the situation of ground, just like Buhari became when he was in power. To some extent, some people were speculating he was there. It may not be that he was there. Maybe they carry some operation on them that makes them to become so insensitive. To so that no matter the complaint that is going on, they don't they don't give a damn what is going on. Just to say well done, and we need to continue. Then also, I don't know what are we doing, because my fear now is that if they allow him to be sworn in by May 29th, it's not likely that this man that is so desperate with the whole situation, with all the all the name calling, all the things that he's been named for, and the fact that he's not so well, and he's still desperate to clinch to power. This man will not leave. And the APC, they are not the type that obey court rulings. That you now expect that even if the Supreme Court or wherever they take it to, if they take it to the highest rules that Obi won, do you think they will give? They will act on the court ruling? So I don't know what we are doing. Can the court rule that? Is it possible, Aisha, for the court to rule that this case? That Tinubu should not be sworn in until this case has been finalized? Is it not possible? That's our best bet.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible for that to happen, but it depends on whether the court is going to do that. And I think we've spoken about this thing a lot of time. Thank you so much, Deborah, for calling. I know Ganiu is on the line, but just for me to quickly add and say that we've spoken about this in a whole lot of times. For me, whatever influence that Tinubu is going to have as a president, he already has it. If it's whatever it is that is going to have, and then it's APC that is still in power. So if they're going to do any influencing or whatever, whether he's here or he's in there, he can still do that. But what we have, the best bet, and which is the route that we're taking now, that Mr. Peter Obi and Labour Party are taking, is that bring in the evidence. So what you're going to put before the court is in such a way that they are overwhelmed by the evidence before the court, and it's really take a whole lot. And you can see how invested people are in the court hearings. People are going in there. So they have to put a lot of security and whatever out there. Like today, there were a lot of people who were pro-Tinubu demonstrators in the court, and they're trying to sort of like foment trouble and all of that. The other ones who were there, they were like, no, they don't want to get into all of that fracas, because they're looking for a way to be able to say that, oh, Peter Obi supporters are violent or anything, and they are not giving them that opportunity. So that attention of everyone on the courts will also ensure that the court is doing the needful that needs to be done. That's why in all the how do they term this thing? The cases before the courts on the grounds on which Peter Obi is going to, that 25%, yeah, it's there, but 25% is solely dependent on the interpretation of the courts. And so you don't want a situation whereby all your eggs are based on the interpretation of the court, because when it comes to interpretation of the courts actually have the room to interpret things the way they want to. And you can't even decide what rule they are. I know a lot of people are using, because of the and. The and is the literal. So in interpretation, when it comes to judicial interpretation, there are 4 types. You have the literal rule. There are 4 rules. The literal rule, which is you will look at how did they put the words, and that's where that and is coming in. You have the golden rule, you have the mischief rule, and you have the purposive approach, which is really what they use, like in the UK and also our courts. What was the intention of this whole thing? The one of, will it be like, so will it be like an anomaly if you allow this to go ahead? Also the court in its own way, because it has a room, and you cannot decide for any court at any time or any judge on which of the ruling they must follow at a particular time. So that's why we are not putting that much effort is not on the, yes, it's there. But then the other one is that, can we put in this evidence? This guy forfeited his $460 million. That's something. So he was involved in crime, and the Constitution is quite clear about that. The vice president select had double nomination, and the law is quite clear on double nomination, that you can't hold double nomination. So as long as those things are proven. And then the other one, of course, is the data integrity. A lot of the results that were uploaded on IREF, they were manipulated, erased, changed, all of that, and you can literally see them. So these are things that will have to be put before. I think let's not leave that. Let's take away that fear of, if Tinubu gets into office or whatever. Let's just focus on ensuring that the judiciary is overwhelmed. Ganihu, apologies. I know you've been waiting for quite a while, so go ahead. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely, we can.
Good morning, Aisha. Good morning from here, and good morning, Dr. Haruna. I follow you. I really thank you people for the good work you guys have been doing. I follow you guys on YouTube.
Thank you.
And good morning, Felix. So yes, I'm really worried about our country, because right now I know that most Nigerians massively voted for Peter Obi. Yes, Tinubu, he has been flown maybe to France, and probably he's on medical trip. I have no issues with that. I understand he's old, and it's not a sin for one to be old, and it's not a sin for one to be sick. But we are all praying and hoping and wishing him a quick recovery. But the area I have issues is that he's been part of the APC government. They have been in power for 8 good years. And I still can't understand the reason why he will still be flying out of Nigeria or to go for medical treatment. They've been in power for 8 years. President Muhammad Buhari has been the president. He's their man. He's been there for 8 years. And I know that Tinubu has been part of the government. He's been an advisor. He's been advising them on so many issues. So my question is this. For all these 8 years, these people have not been able to build some good hospitals for Nigerians, that they should continue traveling abroad, spending millions. He owns a private jet. And he still have to explain to Nigerians how he was able to make the money of which he used in buying the private jet. And like Nigerians see it as nothing. But there are so many Nigerians that have been dying because of lack of good health care. From the southeast to the north central, to all parts of Nigerians. You can't move around and find one single good hospital. They travel to most of these Western nations, and they see the good hospitals they have over there. He was in France, I think, was it last month or last 2 months? Yeah. And he was there. They understand how things work there. But I still can't understand the reason why, after all these years, these people continue to allow Nigerians to suffer. People are dying of all kinds of sicknesses just because we don't have good hospitals. But we have the good doctors. And the unfortunate part of it is that most of these good doctors are now looking for ways to relocate to countries that have good medical system. And it's high time Nigerians really ask themselves some good questions, because if we have to continue like this, then we are doomed. We are going to remain like, because I think there was yesterday I was listening to the news, and I heard that one of the big pastors was like trying to tell Nigerians that maybe it's the will of God for Tinubu to be our president. For God's sake, it's not the will of God, and will never be the will of God. God does not allow his people to be ruled by evil people, And I wish Nigerians can really understand. Look, Nigerians are scattered all over the world. I'm not living in Nigeria, but many people are tired of living abroad. They want to go back home. They want to go back home and invest. Yeah. People want to come back home and invest, but you cannot invest in a society where there is practically nothing working. No electricity, no good health care. Even you are not sure of your life. People, you could be kidnapped at any point in time. I have an uncle of mine that was traveling just last week from Abuja to Imo State. Between Kogi and Abuja, they kidnapped him. The younger brother who was driving his car was shot dead, and the guy they had at the back was shot by kidnappers. And right now they are negotiating, asking for millions. So this has been the normal system in Nigeria. And when people listen to this kind of news, nobody wants to go back home and invest. That is why we are all pleading with Nigerians to understand that it is high time they come out and say that Obi is the one they voted for. We want change. Look at other countries that have oil just like Nigeria. Nigeria is a blessed nation. It's a shame that we have continued to be the poverty capital of the world. Look at Rwanda in 1994. There was a big genocide there. Look at what Paul Kagame has been able to do in that country. Right now, Rwanda is attracting investors from all over the world. It's a very small country, but Europeans, Americans are now willing to go in there and invest. How many investors will be ready to come to Nigeria? Look at, I'm happy for Dangote. I heard he's going to open his new refinery. This is an individual. But we used to have 4 refineries. Two in Port Harcourt, 1 in Kaduna, 1 in Warri. From what I understood, none of these refineries are functioning. We have to export this crude oil to the West, to Germany and some other countries for them to refine those oil for us. Then they will now have to bring the oil back to Nigeria. So I think nothing is working right now, and it will be a mistake if we allow this to go on. Nigerians they all need to stand up and say, no, enough of this nonsense. This is we believe I think the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. We are all praying that they should do the right thing. They just have to follow the law, do the right thing, and make sure that the right guy is restored, that we get our mandate back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Genyu, for your contribution. And indeed, you did say it, a whole lot of things there. It's very important for the judiciary to be the last resort of the common man rather than the last resort of the corrupt politicians. And so Nigerians are actually really coming out and talking about the fact that their mandate was given to Mr. Peter Obi. And you see a lot of this thing that have been coming, especially in the northern part of the country, where there was a lot of assumption that Peter Obi will not get that much of votes. But he really did get votes, which were stolen, which were taken away. And so these are all the things that people are coming out to say, no, we voted for this people, because Nigerians came and Nigerians were tired and they were ready to vote for him. So thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Well done. Mr. Felix, please, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello. Hi, sis. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I hope you're resting. You're always up and about.
Yeah. I can't. I came here for research. I have to do that
It's okay.
research. Well done.
Thank you. And Dr. Haruna, I just want to thank you for all that you do as well. When that sham result was announced, I can tell you, and I'm sure I'm speaking the minds of a lot of Nigerians, that I was depressed for a couple of weeks. I was really down, but your videos has been one of the things that has been keeping me going. You always encouraging us, and I really appreciate you. And Aisha does a whole amazing job with that too, keeping people encouraged at all times. And I think we need to continue to stay encouraged. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I know that it's not going to be business as usual. Yesterday I was at work, and my boss came to me and said, "Are you guys really going to allow a drug baron to be your president?" I'm like, "Where did you hear that from?" He said, "It's all over the place." And it just hit me to know that, man, if this man can say that, how many people in this world are thinking the same thing about a country as blessed as Nigeria? If you come to America here, you see that the Nigerian music in America here has blown away. People love it. Americans love American music. You see how they invite them to their award ceremonies. They invite them to come and do things. When it comes to entertainment, we are blessed as a country. We have the resources. We have everything, but we have no leadership. No leadership at all. I joined another Zoom program about this election issue last week. And, Nigeria is one of the only places where you see people go to church or mosque and pray for light, and pray for good roads, and pray for water. These are basic necessities of life that we should ordinarily have without having to pray for it, if we have good leaders. I live in America. I've never had to pray for lights because there's lights. I've never had to pray for good roads because there's good road, because we have a good leadership system in place that provides this basic necessity of life for people. But in Nigeria, you pray for road, you pray for water, you pray for life, you pray. By the time you even pray yourself, there was a joke that even God is like, Nigeria, are you the only people in that world?
Felix, let me jump in a little bit because it's so funny, I always say this. I said we've been reduced to a place where we are praying for the basic things. Meanwhile, our mates are praying. They're having a relationship with God. They are getting closer to God. They are not praying for, oh God, please, I need a job. God, they are, some of them, inner peace. How do they contribute? All of those things. But another thing is the fact that we should raise is the fact that religion has also been weaponized in Nigeria. It has been weaponized. And I said this on both ends, because sometimes when we are talking about, some people are like, oh, it's sort of like only on the Muslim part. Like, no, both the Muslim and the Christian part. And I'm going to explain a little bit. Let me take into this thing to say that, one, the religious rulers and the political rulers, because I call them rulers, not leaders, because if I'm talking of religious, Martin Luther King was a religious leader. Malcolm X, a religious leader. The ones we have today, most of them are just rulers. They need each other. So the religious rulers need the political rulers to give bad governance so that they can sell cheap miracles. So that if you finish NYC, you go and meet your malam or your pastor or your dibia or babalawo or boka for him to bless your certificate so that you can get a job. So that's why if you get a visa to travel abroad, you go and do testimony and all of that. So they need that to be able to sell it. Then the political rulers, they need the religious rulers to keep the people down so that there won't be an uprising against them. That's why they will tell you something like, oh, protest is haram. And then they will say to you, oh, why are you going to government? Why don't you pray for your own miracle? And what are the ways that they actually use to keep the people? On the Muslim side, more of the north. I'm a southern Muslim, south Muslim, so we are minority there. There are more Christians in the south, and then like in the north we have the Christians we have minority there. So sort of like, so when I talk about mostly in the northern in the Islamic world, they say to you, why are you even bothered? This world is not where you're supposed to do your enjoyments. Why don't you wait till you get to heaven and then you enter paradise? So whatever suffering you're doing. And that's why I said to people the other time, if you remember in Kano, when you were having things like Hisbah, burning people's alcohol, carrying.
Yes.
I say, look, there's nothing really. It's politics they are
They
playing.
still do
So that
it.
they will say, oh, they are working. You know, this hardship you are getting is because they are trying to put Sharia, they are trying to do Islamic thing, and that's why these people are fighting. So leave it. You understand? In the Christian world, what did they do? They sell this thing, prosperity is so to a lot. So you are told, why are you focused on government when you can pray and get your own miracle and get your own prosperity and grow and be? So that's why you see that hype constantly. And then when something happens, your child doesn't get a job, they say, oh, it's the enemy, it's village people, it's principalities. Please, yes, there are those things we know. Yes, God is there, but they've been used and as a weapon to
exactly. Certain things don't require prayer. Certain things just don't require prayer. If you have good leaders, you will have those things. It's not everything. God has given us the resources. How you manage it is what really matters. I was pumping gas on Wednesday last week. I saw 3 cars, 3 black SUVs. The driver in the middle one came out, pumped gas. I was pumping gas too. Then the person next to me said, do you know who that is? I said, who? Said, it's the governor of Texas in that car. 3 cars. If it's Nigeria, the entourage of a governor will be from Maiduguri to Lagos. They will be, they will waste. Buhari is coming to Lagos. People will suffer because of traffic and so on and so forth. These are things that we should not have to suffer if we have good leaders. Tinubu was supposed to be at the Tribunal that day. He sent the representative. This is the same thing he did during campaign. He will not go for debates. He'll be sending people. Now he has gone to France. Why didn't he send a representative to go and get his treatment on his behalf? They know the things they want to do. They know the things that they care about. And it does not involve the masses. And that is why it is time for us to really continue to step up. We have to make this change. They think it's business as usual. I can guarantee you that these people are afraid. They don't want to show it. Because they've never seen a thing like this before. 4 people tweeting in a room have turned to a major pain on their body. And we need to continue to stay, because this is not the time to give up. We need to continue. And I know that at the end of the day, this mandate will be mandate to be ours. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Felix. Still stay on. I'm going to bring Harun Ogoro to join us. Please, sir, kindly unmute yourself. Just to say that you are a pastor. You are a man of God. I'm talking to Mr. Harun Ogoro right now, and yet you don't just say to the people, don't fight for good governance, go and be praying to God. Like we see a lot of people that have come out to tell us that it is the will of God that the stealing is done. And I'm like, yeah, it's the will of God also that when somebody steals something, justice should be done. And that's why there are rules and things. And then some people will say to you, oh, leave it to God. For me, that's one of the things I find so irritating about my fellow citizens, when they tell you, oh, leave it to God. Now, why are you fighting? I'm like, God even prescribed punishments for certain things. He didn't tell us to leave it to him. So why are you sitting down and leaving that to you? Just to say to Mr. Harun Ogoro, how are you able to do this? And what are the things that you would like to say to citizens, especially those who are actually being brainwashed by these religious rulers? We have a lot of them out there. You're still muted.
Hello?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you now.
Okay. Aisha, you will notice since I started broadcast last year, I've never said anything about Jesus. I've never said anything, only God, because this whole thing about religion has divided us. Half of my family, my mother, my sisters, my cousin, my nephews are all Muslim. That's the background coming from. But then I became a Christian. So, and I didn't want to use that. No single broadcast. Actually, a lot of people don't even know. Some think I'm a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to leave it that way. Because the moment you bring the religion thing, people already take side and they decide, who is he to talk to us? He's a Christian.
Mm.
So for me, I actually think that the challenge we're having in Nigeria is religion.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling people not to be religious. I'm very religious, but I'm telling you that's what they have used. Because, they said the religion is the opium of the masses.
Mm-hmm.
That is where they get the weakness of somebody.
Yeah.
You are told to forgive. Mm-hmm. My mind, I process Christianity from the mindset of an activist and a fighter for humanity and for their rights, which Jesus was a revolutionary. So anybody that truly cares for humanity will not be thinking about his church, their tithes and offering, because the people that are on top, the clergy, are actually making it at the expense of the others. They have lots of money, they live different, their houses, they've got maids, they're protected, they've got bodyguards, they preach about divine protection, but then they have bodyguards. So that's why, Aisha, for me, maybe after Obi comes in, I'll start to let people know who I am. But for now, I'm a Nigerian, and I want to see people free. And when I speak as a Northerner, I talk because I know what we have suffered in the hands of our Northern brothers. So for me, I actually warned people. I said, we don't need their prophecy. Nobody should prophesy anything. We want to fight, and we want to look at who has what it takes to take Nigeria forward. Because I will not trust Nigeria to any of the GOs, to any of the pastors, to any of the imams, because many of them are corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I'll trust Obi 100 times more than I would trust many pastors. Because I see credibility, I see transparency, I see somebody that has a heart. It's not, with all that has happened, he's not vengeful, he's not fighting people. But you imagine if it was pastors, they will be fighting each other even on TV. And if it's the Muslim clerics, they'll be fighting each other. Obi is the one person I've seen in Nigerian history, in all my 67 years on earth. Obi, I've not seen, I don't even know any other nation that has somebody like Obi. So it's not just about, if Nigerians make the mistake of letting anything happen outside Obi, I can tell you, Aisha, I'm not prophesying a prophet of doom, but I can tell you, I will almost say, even you, just stay back in America and let your family come and join you.
This are not gonna solve yet. Me, I know they go anyway. You short there. I can't wait to be back home. I'm sick and tired. If not, it's a program that I'm doing. Normally holiday. I would have run back home since that country. We are not living it. We died there. We died there. They don't own it. And for them, they cannot come and say, oh, this, that. For me, that's really where I stand up. Because one of the things that we really want is for people to just give up on Nigeria. I spent so in my own case, just to give a bit of background and I'm sure many people have heard this a lot of time. For my first 40 years, I didn't even care whether there was Nigeria, honestly. If you know the kind of person I am, my husband will always say there was Aisha before 2014 and Aisha after 2014. Let me tell you, for you people to know how the president could have sat beside me in 2014 or before 2014, I wouldn't know who he was. That's how bad I was. A lot of things that happened in Nigeria, Alu for this Odi massacre, I didn't know they happened because I tuned off Nigeria. So I grew up as a very angry teenager. Very angry with my parents. I would challenge my dad. I said, what's happening in this country? We are blessed, we are rich, but see the corruption, see everything going on. Why are you people not keep talking? Why are we suffering? Because I suffered a lot as a child. And I saw that suffering, you know, being in secondary school, going out begging for textbook to read. I was begging people and telling them that I would get them a Ababio. This is PNOKK, that physics book. I read sciences. I was begging. ABU Zaria, before I got admission into medicine level 2, it took me like this. Every day for I think 3 months or more, I will go to senior beauty. There was nobody's office I didn't enter. Some they will drive me, some they will abuse me. Tomorrow, I'm very tenacious. So I know they give up. You will tell me this thing, I will put everything on the line. To the extent, you know, and I will see other people who had, because I did IJMB, I did A levels. And I knew who had lesser results. They will come in with their uncles, they will come in with their whatever, they will give them admission. Me, I had nobody. And at one time, my parents couldn't afford to give me money transport from Kano to, I had to now be living with someone. There was a girl there, their parents took me in and I could stay with them, you know, all that suffering. And so my main thing was, I need to make money. That was my main thing, financial independence. That's why I don't joke with it. Passive income, because that's the only way my dad could pay my school fees. I went to a very good school. If I had finished from the government school I used to be in, I wouldn't be able to speak English. I tell everyone. So he had sacrificed, even though he didn't have anything. His what do they call this thing? From share dividends. He would use it to pay my school fees. We were suffering and everything. And today, so by the time I became 40, I said, me, I am not the problem of Nigeria. My silence was a problem. Because the people, I used to hate people who were corrupt. Now it is my mates. I'm going to be 50 this year. It's my mates who are doing the corruption now. It's my mates who are giving the bad governance and all of that. And so for me, when I started speaking, I'm on this issue, we die here. And so sometimes when I see people say to me, are you not afraid of being killed? I'm like, I should have, my mates died a long time ago. There are a lot of my mates that didn't make it out of the ghetto. Where I am now, I've even done excess more than I was supposed to have done. So anything. So on this thing, we will be there. But one of the things that you said, Felix, that really struck at me was the fact that, and I'm going to reiterate this here, we must not forget the little wins. And I'll say, Mr. Aruna Guru, that's one of the things we must not forget the little wins. Because sometimes when you are in a struggle, if you don't keep reminding yourself of the little wins, and you will get depressed, you will get angry. That's why for me, I think in that election, I was done for maybe for 3 hours or something like that. I'm like, what? Then I sat down, we were in the campaign office there, in the office like this, and we're just like, God, what the hell is this? We won this election. Because we could see the things coming in, and then they just took it. Then I just look at her and say, are we okay? Why are we here being down? It's the people that stole the election that should be down. Because we did the impossible. How many people got into Senate because of the whole obedient movement of citizens now participating in politics? How many people were able to get to House of Rep? How many you see how the whole nation, people were galvanized, you understand? That's amazing. So why are we depressed? And then, it was as if they just shift the bulb. All of us just stood like, we are on this. Okay, what's going on? Can we get the numbers? What's happening here? So I think for everyone, let's not forget that. Let's keep remembering the things that have happened, the things we've been able to achieve. They used to tell us that votes don't count. Is there any politician that dared to say that in 2023? That was what we used. And even when we used to say to people, look, votes count, because if votes don't count, why then are they buying votes? Many people stayed away. So you see this thing now, the issue now, why we are fighting for this mandate, which we know with the evidence on ground, it will be hard for the court to say that, it's still, it go hard there. And that's why you must put the attention on that. While we are getting that mandate, what are the things we need to start doing now? Who are those of us that can enter partisan politics, that can join political parties? Oh yeah, begin to join. Let's use Labour Party, sir.
I said, people like Aisha.
Yeah, for now. So this is what, you know, when
you've been running away from me.
I will. No, I'm not running away. You understand? So I'm that kind of a person who always, you know, plan on the things I need to do. That's why I say to people, if you tell me appointment, I tell you zero, I'm not going to do appointments. I've said that to a lot of people. They say, are you going to answer? I won't work for Peter Obi, but I can work with Peter Obi. There's a difference. Let me give it, for example, on the campaign, I wasn't a member of Labour Party. I wasn't Peter Obi's advisor. I wasn't a speaker. I wasn't Peter Obi's spokesperson. I wasn't a member of PCC, but I played my role. I was a part of that team. Key decisions, everything, I was there. That's the way I work. I work in a free, I don't want to be doing yes sir to you. I didn't look, I say, everybody is here. I say, you know me, I'm here to hold you. I'm your critic. But guy, you saw, what are you doing here? That's the role I play. So even when he gets into office, by the grace of God, that's the kind of role I want to play. But in terms of running for office, yes, maybe. But I'm giving myself time. But the role I play now, I can't be on a partisan level, because for me, and I might be speaking, and correct me if you are wrong, you know, sometimes a person go to come the fee say in head go they big. I want to play the role of getting a lot of competent, accountable people into office, not in getting myself into office. If I become let me give you an example with the issue of Enugu State. Frank Weke Jr. as far as I was the most competent. I'm not going to support any other person. If I'm in party, they will drive me anti-party activity. So I had my freedom. I'm not the anybody party. So for me, the drive is, how do we get people? And I've been saying this in the last 2 years. How do we get competent people into office? That's the role I want to play. Not how do I get Aisha into office. A lot of people say, oh, you should. Yes, I know. I'm not going to run because I will win. I want to run when I'm ready to say I can focus on serving and giving. But right now, my job is to get as many people as I can into office. And the more, the better. So that's where my energy is focused on. And so we need to get people who will join this political party, especially Labour Party, and control it from inside. This one you say, they chose somebody, they did not choose somebody, they did not. Can we get people? It's sacrifice. Even Nigerians in diaspora, you understand. I've been saying this. I'm going to bring you on, Felix. Please, anybody that wants to jump into the cup, just raise up your hand. Let's just be having this conversation. Even Nigerians in diaspora, I've been saying to them, how many people are you bringing to represent you? Nigerians in diaspora, people should come and put at least 20 people in the National Assembly. 20 to 30. You should have some like 10 senators that when I go send them from that abroad, come here. Some of them have either retired, they have the competence, they have the capacity, they're either whatever, they can come and do. Let them come. So that when they are talking about Nigeria diaspora issue, you know your candidates. How many in the state are in the House of Rep? How many in all the state houses of assembly? So for me, that's the role I want to play. So first of all, now let people begin to register. Let's also begin to curate people that are going to run for office now and 2027. Let's infiltrate the legislative arm of government. Every time they are always doing one election or the other. In no time now, they will be doing by-election. Maybe one Senate seat is open, vacant, one House of Rep, one this thing. Anytime it's happening, whether it is in Sokoto or in Ebonyi, can we come together and say, who are the competent people we can find in Sokoto? I don't care what you are. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you can be a traditional. You sure you can say you don't even believe in God? How do I take assignment? Are they going to bury me? Are you in the same grave? I don't know where people get to understand when it comes to religion. I always say religion is personal. So there's a verse, this thing chapter in the Quran where they talk about God was saying, so to who you who do not believe, and he was asking the prophet to see that to this thing. He said, I do not believe that we should believe. Neither do you believe that we shall believe. And I will never believe that we should believe. Neither will you believe that we shall believe. For you is your religion, and for me is my religion. I always take that. Somebody tell me, say, no believe in God. Wait till come concern me. The God we create and why not make me believe in him? Now me where they create us together. I mean, upon the fight. You know, Nigerians now we fight for God and leave our fight to God. You tell the person to come and fight for good governance. You say no, God is in charge. But the person will jump up and be fighting for God. I'm like, are you okay? For me, I was like, it's God that created all of us. If He wanted all of us to believe in Him, He would have made all of us to believe in Him. And if He wants some people not to believe it, it's a choice they have not to do that. So that's for me. So it doesn't matter whether the person is Muslim, Christian, North, South, Igbo, Yoruba, Esako, Ibibio, Nupe, whatever, Kanuri, it doesn't matter. What we are looking at, who can we find there that are competent that will be focused on Nigeria? Then let's begin to curate those numbers. Like right now in your state, how many people you think are Senate material? How many people are willing? Why they call me? Can we begin to train them on leadership? Can we begin to have, in short, can we begin to have them even act like shadowing? You want to run for office to House of Assembly, right? Why, can we add you to someone who is there? You'll be going there, learning, seeing the process, understanding, so that when you get into office, you are able to do that seamless. And then can we have a coffer that we are putting money together so that people who don't have money, who have competence, we can have something that we use for their campaign. We don't need to give them the money. It's not flyer, it's not this, it's not. Then also, another very important thing, can we also have people's agents? Who are these people that we have? Let's have a database of, let's say, 1 million people, right, who are ready to act as party agents, so that all the 170-something polling units, we have at least 3 people there, 3-4 people who are there, that on election day in all Nigeria, they can be there. So that if you have someone who doesn't have party agents or this base competent, we can use those people, get the right result, ensure the right, so all of these kind of things. These are the things that will be, because if you see what we did, what Nigerians did in 10 months, see the results you achieve, and imagine if you continue to do that in the next 30 years. All these people that we think they are politicians, we've seen they don't have anything. Felix, go ahead, please.
So it is very interesting to hear what you're saying. I'm always encouraged by you when you share your thoughts to us, and that's why I really love whenever I see you come online. Whatever I'm doing, I drop it, enjoying, because it's very insightful. There is a saying that you can bring down a 10-story building, you can bring it down, demolish it in one day within 24 hours, but you cannot build it back within 24 hours. So it is harder to build than to destroy. This is a process that we've started. It really started during the NSAS, when the youths started seeing for real that, okay, so the people we vote into office are all about themselves. So it started. Peter Obi is just the symbol. It is more than Peter Obi. It is beyond Peter Obi. Even Peter Obi is scared of the Obidients, because he knows that if he does anything wrong, they will come for him too. Because enough is enough. Look at people who go to school, they'll come out of school, no job, nothing. Things are happening. Nothing is happening in that country. So it has come to the point where people have now started to take the things that they used to take for granted. They now say, okay, we're going to make a change. There are 4 things that these politicians always use against us. Religion, number 1. Number 2, poverty. You see, during election, they will induce people with money, 5,000. People used to fall for it. They take it, they sell their votes. This 5,000, someone who has not eaten, they don't know what they're going to eat next. You give them 10,000, they'll take it and do whatever for it, because they don't know the impact that one vote can make. So lack of proper education as far as voting and the benefits of it is concerned. So they use that. Then they use tribalism. They make us fight against each other. Yoruba against Igbo, against Hausa. And like Peter Obi used to say, there's something he says that I really like. Show me a place where Yoruba will buy bread cheaper than the Igbo. Show me a place where Muslim buys fuel cheaper than the Christian. We are all suffering the same thing, and the people who are pushing us to do these things are flying out, enjoying themselves. If their kids are sick, boom, abroad. School, abroad. Everything they want, abroad. They don't even care. So, but we are here killing each other. The guy that hit that woman with bottle, the woman that went to vote in Lagos, that came back to vote with the scar on her face. The guy that hit her with bottle, he's not buying anything cheaper than the woman that he hit. We're all suffering. So these politicians they know what to use against us, and we've been falling. And then to crown it all up, they now use thugs to crown up all their shenanigans. It happened in Port Harcourt, in River State. It happened in the Southeast, happened in the South. Of course, it happened in Lagos and many places. So it has gotten to the point where we have now taken the step and the boldness to say, you know what, we're going to do it. My favorite music is LUP 79. Obi. I love it because it creates the excitement. Look at the excitement in the minds of people during the election. People love that. The engagement. People love that. It is because people are tired of the three major contestants. Obi was the most, like you said, Dr. Haruna, we're not saying Obi is a saint. That's not what we are saying. But we know that the message that he gave is a message of hope. The other ones were so insulting people, dancing, and all, but Obi was speaking to the minds of the common man. And that was why people resonated with him. People connected with him. This man would go around, people would jump, people would cry, people would do this, because they saw in him what a true leader should be. And so that encouraged people to want to come out and say, yes, let's vote this man. It was not about to be. It is beyond him. So I'm encouraging everyone, stay engaged, like Aisha said. Let's be involved. Let's do things. Let's make sure that people see us. They are scared. They know. There are governors who could not come back. They were voted out. Some wanted to go to be senators. This has never happened. Now, most of them now see that the next election, they'll be like, oh my God, okay. First and foremost, vote buying. I don't think that works anymore. They know things are shifting gradually. It's not going to change overnight. It is a process, but we have to stay consistent. We have to stay involved. We have to stay engaged and not be complacent, not complain. The more we complain, that is what they want to see. They were shocked that we did not get on the street and burning things and destroying property. They are shocked that's what they want. Then they'll go and burn INEC office and say, oh, all the things are burnt, so there's nothing to provide. It shocked them. And that was because of the comment Obi made. Be peaceful. Let's follow the due process. Yeah. They threw everything at him. Because if someone is the number 3, why are you attacking him more than the number 2?
Exactly.
Because they know he's the number 1. He won. You know, and so encouraging everyone, please, let's stay engaged. Do not give up hope. Let's stay engaged. Even at the end of the day, when our mandate is recovered, don't say, oh, we've gotten our mandate. Okay, I'm done. No, let's continue. Let's hold. Aisha says something I really like. She's going to continue to hold or be accountable. That's how we need to keep holding our leaders accountable, keep encouraging them and get involved, because Nigeria is going to get better.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Felix. I'll just move quickly to Sydney. Before Sydney comes on, it's for me to repeat this thing again, like you're saying. Look, the 2023 election is not about Obi. The reason why you see these politicians, there's a name for them. What do they call them? The establishment. The established politicians fighting so hard to ensure that Peter Obi does not come. It's not because of Peter Obi's, how do I put it, tenure per se. Because for them, and that's where you talked about, to destroy is very easy. You say, if no matter what, in 1 hour, master, you see, 24 hours, they'll bring it down. But to be, so they know that even if Peter Obi comes in and then he's spent 8 years, Peter Obi can never do more than 8 years as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He does his 8 years, he has built this, they can just come in again and they can destroy everything, and his business, it goes back to business as usual. They can outwait to 8 years. But the biggest thing is that if they allow this to happen to them, what they know that is that the people will now understand the power that they have to be the deciders. So this is what is really organized. This is not just about Peter Obi. That's what I'm saying. We are all fighting for our mandate. It's not Peter Obi that is fighting for his mandate, because that power, because citizens were able to realize, this politics that they told us is that it's not like that. So if we participate in it, we can actually make a difference. We can decide who is it. And so if they allow it, so that's why you see them fighting and doing everything they can to ensure that that doesn't happen. And like you rightly said, citizens must just focus. Just focus. Even if they are bringing any house, even if they are slapping us from one side, forget that one. Let's focus, finish this issue first. We will go to other. I say a lot because a lot of things they will throw this in to distract people. No, just focus on that issue that we need to focus on, which is getting mandate. But thank you so much, Cindy, for your patience. Go ahead.
Thank you, Aisha, and thank you, Dr. and Felix, for what you guys have been saying. I think I will first of all start before I piggyback to what we were earlier discussing. This is if, nations come into critical time in their history where they need to emerge as a nation. Nigeria, the last time we saw such focus was during the June 12th elections. For those that were there, most of the younger generation may not see that. But that was the time
my first time of voting. I was proud to stand on the line. That
was the time that Nigeria converged to say, this is how we want to move. And it was scuttled by the same political or military hegemony that was in play. And so we saw the rise of the NADECO and the fight back. And finally, a democracy of sorts emerged. And that democracy was also hijacked, midwifed by the military. And so Nigerians got to a time when, there was disillusion everywhere. Nobody cares. People tuned off, zone off, and do their thing. People play ball during elections. This is the second time in our new history where Nigerians have converged again in a very bigger form from NSAS to say, we have had it enough. We are not taking it again. And if we don't fight now, then there's no other time to fight. So sometimes in history, these kind of things happen, and then there will be a rallying point. And that's what has happened this election. And the political bracket of this nation, they underestimated what was happening. They totally underestimated us. Now I tell you, Nigerians are very elastic people. What do I mean elastic people? We just go with the flow. We say everybody faces their business. But if you notice this election, and these are the positives, that for the first time, the young people were not distracted. And that was a very big shocker. Now, about three things that can distract Nigerians generally. One, football. If you put football now, people watch. For the first time, Nigeria was not in the World Cup, so we had super focus. There was going to be super focus on this election. Big Brother Nigeria, nobody cared about it for the first time. It was obsolete. I think those people must have lost ratings because Nigerians, the young people decided, if it is not now, then there's no way out. And we know that we cannot win everything. But if we hit the presidency with great accuracy and precision, then Nigeria will shift. And I tell you that the Nigeria of 2019, 2015 is not what we are seeing now. Peter Obi has opened the election process from nomination, from party nomination. He started affecting this election. When PDP was playing games, he stepped out of PDP and said, I want to attack this system. And for the first time, the people realized we can actually take them on. And when you decide to create a revolution to take on the powers that be, of course they're going to fight back. Nobody's going to. These guys have built this structure of criminality. They've built it in multi-layers. And one of the guys that has been part of this building of multi-layer of criminal structure, is also saying that it is his turn. So it was them against us. Obviously, they have the instrumentality of state, which they use to maneuver and do all the things they want to do. But for the first time, they saw that throughout this election, what Peter Obi was doing and what he keeps doing is each stage of this election, the Nigerians are trying that process. We tried the process of nomination. We brought out a candidate that became a third force. We tested the INEC system to see that this system, how robust is this INEC system to withstand when the people said it is their time to pick their president. And INEC, they thought that it was a joke. But when the numbers started crunching in, they saw it very clear that this was going to be a landslide victory from the north to the south. And so they did what they did. But I'm happy that Nigerians are still focused till now. Because if we don't get it now, there's a tendency it will take another 10 years or 20 years thereabout for another generation that will muscle their strength again to push back this structure. And the more this structure stays in place, the more they build very, strong monuments you can't remove. So I want to encourage all the young people, all Nigerians really, that we have fought through. And the thing that is really annoying them is that we have owned the space. We have owned the narrative. They've thrown all the kind of brickbats, everything, they've thrown everything against the Nigerian people, but we have owned the narrative. Wherever he goes to, he will be known as a drug lord. We have amplified it. And so it's very difficult. Now, the next process that is on trial is that judiciary. For the first time, most of us would have zoned out. Normally Nigerian tribunals, right, from Yaradua, when Buhari went to contest against Yaradua tribunal, nobody cared. Atiku has always gone to contest. Nobody even listens. Nobody looks at anything. We just, as soon as the president is emerged, we move on.
We move on.
But this time, Nigerians are not moving on. Nigerians are saying, show us what is happening. We want to have updates every day. So the judiciary understand the pressure that has been mounted on them internationally and locally. There's amount of pressure that is unbelievable. And they know that this pressure is like a time bomb. This pressure cooker is boiling. And so they, as the judiciary, almost everybody in Nigeria is a lawyer. We are looking at the petitions. Everybody is examining it. I've never seen this before. Nobody. If somebody can show me what was the petition of Buhari versus Obasanjo, nobody knows. But this time around, we are looking at the petitions. We are looking at the prayers of the petitioners. Everybody is saying, you need to tell us how this is. So for the first time, my encouragement is that the Nigerian process is thoroughly being tried. And these noisemakers have realized that we are throwing their bluff. Go to court, do this. We are there. We are throwing that bluff. We are saying we will stay with our principle and go through this mandate. Let it, and there's something that the counsel for Peter Obi said in the first day. He said, number one, which I've always said, the issues that are being raised are multi-layered. One, it will change our constitution. So the judges have to tell us if our constitution will be changed. So they whatever decision they take, which is their own problem, will determine a change or a new interpretation of those constitutions. So there's a real constitutional conundrum, which the judges are finding they are really in a trap, because their own judgment is what is going to judge them. Their previous judgment is looking at them in the face. So it's very difficult situation. You know, there is a bone that is very difficult to swallow. And that's why they have been creating a lot of diversionary practice, creating parties, working with pseudo parties, creating confusion. But we are not phased about it. There's no distraction in this matter. We are focused. The Nigerian people are focused, both home and abroad. People want to know the details, and they must tell Nigerian details. So even if they go to France, go to the UK, have their mini meetings, because of course they are political gladiators and actors. They do all these kind of things. At the end of the day, he will come to that courtroom. No longer again will you take Nigerians for granted. You know, when people are complaining, why is he not coming? I don't know. Nigerians are very, we forget easily. You know, the APC presidential candidate, that's what I call him. That's his modus operandi. He doesn't interact with people. He's a very elusive figure. Tinubu is an elusive figure. He talks in very small parables. I mean, right from time. You can't see Tinubu give you many things. No. So if Nigerians are expecting somebody to come and talk to them, no, that's not a Tinubu style. And it will never be a Tinubu style. But Nigeria has moved on from that. We want a president that can be able to communicate to us, he can feel our pain, he understands it. Not that he necessarily have to give us 100%, but he can feel exactly the pulse of a nation. So if people are expecting Tinubu to be sworn one Edara, it's not going to happen. So what is happening is that they are deflecting a lot of health issues. And he had serious health issues. The pictures are very clear. And if you have such health issues, it's like somebody that had to quickly come out of the hospital, come and see us and say, I'm here, but he still needs to go back so that he can have proper treatment. It happens to everybody. People fall sick. So I'm not going to use that against him. But to come and gaslight Nigerians, no, we have grown past that. Nigeria of today is not Nigeria of the MKO years. People have phones. There's information galore, and people are chasing this information, and we have it in our fingertips. So no longer will people be gaslighted. So for me, it's a terrible state that at the critical time when a presidential select is supposed to be in the government house, supposed to be in the defense quarters, zoning in, because this is, just imagine, few days. What are you coming to meet investors? I mean, it's so funny. You want to go and meet investors. Which investors? Investors are like bees. They go where the honey is. You create the honey, they come there and invest. It's not rocket science. They do these things as if it's one rocket science, and it's amazing. I remember once, I was talking with one of these Nigerian guys that came for investments and all that from the government and all that. And I shocked them. I think those were the times we began to understand that we cannot stay silent again to these guys. I said, listen, potential is nothing. Potential means nothing. Oh, Nigeria has potential for this, potential for oil and gas, potential for this. I say potential means nothing when it has not been mobilized, when you have not moved it from potential to kinetic, when you have not moved it from that place, it's just empty noise. There are many nations in the world that don't have resources, but they have changed their nation. So let's forget this potential, we have this. No, if you create the enabling environment for business to thrive, investment will naturally flow. It's just, it works globally. So I think it's a shame that at this moment, the presidential select is not in the country. He only stayed for 1 week, and people came to visit him. He got tired. Then he ran away. And then, of course, for his health issues. And then it's very risky for a country. Let's leave the fact that, okay, it's not his mandate, but he's the person that should be transited to. Such a person the risk around him becomes high. Let's take, for instance, Peter Obi is given a mandate now. 24 hours around him becomes very, very interesting. He needs to be in a place. He needs to now start honing down for transition. He needs to be in a nation, not flying and jutting about. He needs to be clear about what he's doing. But we see a president-elect out of the country going around because he works elusively. He just wants to come 2 days to 29th of May and play the drama in the court, see how they can extend things in the court. He gets to 29th, and then when he gets to 29th, things like perjury and all that, immunity immediately moves in. With immunity...
No, he can't have immunity over... that's one thing. This is election tribunal. He can't have immunity on this.
No. I'm not talking about I'm talking about, the Labour Party never mentioned the perjury issues in their
no,
petition.
the perjury issue cannot come up again because it wasn't
because it was not there. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if anybody wanted to use that as a last minute card, his immunity precludes him from it immediately. And then the danger is he has the ability to hijack state. He can hijack the instrument of state from the back end, which is putting pressure on the judiciary, putting all sorts of things on the judiciary, and begin to turn what he wants for himself. And that is the concern of a lot of people. This process is going to take the next 3 months, according to the law, the next 3 months. And that is basically saying we have to wait for the process to go through. But while we're waiting, there will be a president-elect in there that will be sworn in on the 29th. And then what happens to the instrument of state, the DSS, the EFCC, the judiciary, and all the powers and the modcoms that come with being president of Nigeria. So these are the situations that Nigerians are a bit concerned about. But we have to keep ramping the pressure. We have to ramp the pressure on the judiciary. We cannot let go of that pressure because that's the only thing that can put the judiciary on notice. That's why I pray that the submissions of both PDP and LP with regards to opening up the courtroom for Nigerians to visualize, because that's what helped us during the Okuta panel.
Yeah.
When things were opened up, everybody is seeing who is who. I remember the time also when, this was in the legislature, when President Obasanjo was trying to gun in for the third term. Things were opened up by Ken Namani. Namani opened it up because everybody would see what the senators are doing. And everybody began to adjust themselves, because the truth is that these men operate in the law of darkness.
Yeah, that's the only way corruption can happen.
So we hope that, they can officially, we know that there's unofficial, ways we are seeing everything, but they should officially open it so that the judges will tell us how their judgment is. We need to hear them. And then what it does is that the judges also have their courses they do. Judges have courses they do overseas. Judges have contemporaries in different nations. The people will see what they are doing. So if the judges are opened up and they are doing their judgment, it puts pressure on them because they have to have international, high performance. Because it will be, are this the level of our judiciary? It will expose the level of our judiciary, whether they are up to the mark or they are playing to the gallery. And you notice the level of pressure that came. The first statement is they are not going to deal with, technicalities, because Nigerian judiciary are the masters of technicalities.
Yeah.
So now that means the pressure is working.
The
pressure is working that if they are now saying, okay, look, we don't want any shenanigans here. We don't want any kind of display of rubbish. We want to look at the merits of the case. That is a first salvo that is giving us confidence, because the judiciary has to say Nigerians need to be confident. And this is a cautious confidence, because what Mahmoud did with INEC and the beavers, I think that man needs to be jailed, because Nigerians believe that beavers. Nigerians went out to vote. They frustrated us from getting cards. They frustrated people from doing anything. But Nigerians, irrespective of what happened, they went out, they voted, and they voted massively. And they voted for a real change. And in 2 hours, the results were coming, and they knew it was a landslide, and they shut down the system. We all know that that's what they did. They shut down the system. And in 3 hours, they wanted to do a job, but they did a shoddy job because they did not plan for it. These political operators are very, very skilled. They take months to plan it. They thought it was going to be a Atiku versus Tinubu fight. But suddenly, somebody came out from nowhere, and they needed to factor him. And it was very late to do that factoring. And so in 3 hours, they shut down the system to quickly do shoddy jobs. And the shoddy job is what is exposing them on the IRF. The IRF is exposing INEC itself. So I think we should be positive. I think we should understand that it's a process. Yeah. It's going to be, it's like what in the book about Mandela, a long walk to freedom. We are on that journey. Nigeria has never gone through that kind of journey before. So we are going to have that long walk to freedom. And I tell you, I say it here, I think the first time I will say it. Obi has always changed the trajectory of the Nigerian electoral process. He will change May 29th. May 29th will change. Because when they will give him his mandate, it will not be May 29th. You know, some things are hard to understand. But May 29th is not when his mandate is going to be given. He may be sworn in after May 29th.
Yeah.
And that means he basically has changed May 29th. So I want to know that this man has come to affect different aspects of our national life. And I believe that he's going to begin the building process. So we should be hopeful. The pressure will continue. The speakings, Nigerians should be talking. They should talk on Twitter. They should talk everywhere and increase the pressure. And I think with that, we'll see victory in sight.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Thank you. You've said so much, and every word is you're just spitting out the facts and all of that. I'm going to come to Mr. Haruna Agoro in a bit. Also to say, please, Mr. Haruna, can you put on your video, please, so that I'll add you to this spotlight. On the things that you're saying, for example, one of the things with Mr. Peter Obi is the fact that he's someone who is very, how do I put it now? Beyond the fact that he's very tenacious, you saw that. He's someone who is a go-getter. He goes in to get the job done, and he's also very meticulous. In the terms of this whole court case and whatever, he didn't start planning for court case or when the election started, this thing. He had started way before then. And I knew, like, when we're looking at, okay, who are the lawyers that needed, there were a lot of suggestions from different people, different names. And it was like, on this issue of election petition, you know, it's a kind of specialized area of law. It's not every lawyer. You can be a son and all of that, but election matters. You don't really have he was like, oh, he had it on lockdown and everything. And when he brought out his lawyer is actually the one that is the Adele case lawyer that just got the recent victory. And it was all, you could see when the guy came out that these are people who actually know. And even if you notice, he took Peter Obi's petition, took the issue to an angle that many people weren't expecting. Nobody was expecting the Tinubu's drug issue to come and be an issue. And I don't even know whether anybody even knew that this guy had double nomination at the time. that he had before he resigned for from particular days, or was he had that double nomination. So you could see putting it out. And when it comes to legal, a special election petition, in short, of all the people who are in the court today, Peter Obi is the expert. As when you say person that has experience, it's actually Peter Obi. The first case, he took him 3 years. When he's talking about that, his court case, when he got his mandate back the first time, every day even his wife said she was like tired, or like, how are you not tired? This thing with everything up that he go there, he attended every court appearance, he will be there sitting down. The other ones that sometimes they will come with their entourage, they will be singing, dancing. He will just sit down in his corner with his lawyer. Sometimes nobody is following him, just he and his lawyers being there. And you see him there, he's still on that one. That's one thing. And what happened? He got that when he got his mandate back. When he was impeached, he's the one that went to court again to get the court, to get that his mandate given back to him. And then the issue of tenure, it was Peter Obi that also got out the laws to be changed on the issue of tenure, how long, because when he came in 3 years after, and during the election, I think that election where he refused to participate in the election. It was like his tenure, he's supposed to serve for 4 years, because the thinking was that, he will now finish up the remaining days that in Gige did not do, just like what you have in the legislative. I was like, no, you're supposed to be voted in for 4 years, and that 4 years he does. And from him, that's where you now started having different states when you now have to do your 4 years. So he's somebody who has really always been one who has been like a trailblazer, especially in the legal, this thing is in ensuring, putting the judiciary out there to make those rulings and putting them on the spot to do the needful. So he's someone who tests the law. And so where everybody is getting at, you will say, no problem, sure, we are going to court. See, so like, don't worry, we'll go to court, and he's ready to take it. So people should have that confidence and not be too agitated. Don't feel that, what happens? Let's focus on this issue and just overwhelm the judiciary with all the evidence we can have, so that they don't have any room to wiggle their way out, no technicality, no any other thing that is going on. Mr. Harinogo, can you kindly unmute yourself? Yes. And also, please, if you can put your video on.
I can't, because you muted it. You put it off. I've been trying to unmute it.
So sorry. Yeah, try it now. I've asked you to, yes. So you had left the room. I just wanted privacy. So I just
okay, so yeah. I have to be somewhere now, but it was great being with you. We're very optimistic. We're very confident. I think now we should be putting pressure and start talking about this thing about the May 29th must be postponed, because people they're in court, and there's no need to waste time bringing in somebody only to remove the person, because the evidence are very, very clear that even the mood of the nation, people should judge and know that, looking at the mood of the nation, most Nigerians didn't vote for Tinubu, so he shouldn't be imposed on us by doing a trial run of a government that is not going to work. So we should push more for this, the postponement of the inauguration. If we can keep talking more, so that the judiciary can do something about it, or whatever will happen, so that May 29th does not have to happen. That's been the part I've been looking at, and just saying, if we can put more pressure, people talking, even me, I don't know. Aisha, maybe you need to guide me on this if you have any information. Is it possible for maybe the party or certain individuals to go to court and find reasons to change the date? Is that possible? Aisha is muted.
Oh, so sorry about that. So I was saying, I'm not sure that's possible to have an injunction. I can't remember the specific answer that Dele Farotimi gave. He was our last week guest on Live with Aisha, which normally comes up 6 p.m. on Saturday's Nigerian time. I think that wasn't to go. But then at the same time, what they said is that it is not a must that Tinubu has to be sworn in on May 29th. It's not as if it's sacrosanct that he has to be sworn in. The court can say that, okay, this election, it does not meet this whatever, and then the swearing in can be stalled. But I think who takes on whether there's an extension of this government or is it as Senate president, I'm not too sure about that. But what I do know is that it's not a must that he has to be sworn in. It's not sacrosanct. May 29th. Okay. Yeah, swearing in a president-elect when he doesn't meet this thing is not sacrosanct. So the courts can actually make that ruling to be done. I remember when Bayelsa State, even like 24 hours to a swearing in, who remembers that the guy was already practicing he was already doing the, what do they call this thing now? The practice. And then even some newspapers had given him the best governor of the year kind of award. And then the court said, no, the guy was not sworn because his deputy was found to have falsified the results that he used. And unfortunately, the deputy was a senator and he still retained his seat as a senator. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone, Sydney or Felix, anyone have something to, let me put it, go and unmute yourself. Let me remove this.
I think you're right.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself, sir.
You're right.
Felix, go ahead.
You're 100% correct with what you said. So the May 29th is more of a decision that the executive of the federal government made May 29. It's not in the Constitution that May 29 has to be. It has never been in the Constitution. The only thing is that at the end of every 4 years, a president will have to be either re-elected or at the end of his, which is 2 term, will have to leave and then someone else comes in. Now, in this case, where there is a court case with so many national tension on ground, it is possible for the courts to say, hey, while this is being litigated, let's have someone else in the interim take over. And in this case, if you want to go by the Constitution, it will have to be the Senate president. If you want to go by the Constitution. Now, I know some people have been clamoring for interim government, and interim government is not in the Constitution. It's not something that is embedded in the Constitution, but it is possible because of this is something that has never happened before. You know, like you said, Sydney, in the past, when elections are done and a winner is announced, either by hook or
that's why
people move on. People move on, they don't worry about it. But this time around, there is interest vetted in the process. They tell you go to court. The go to court that they've always said is because they know that they can bribe their way through, everything will end, nothing will happen at the end of the day, people will forget about it. But this time, they have now seen that, wow, one, there's insurmountable evidence to prove fraud, rigging. Secondly, people are fully vested in the process. They're not going anywhere. People want to see what is happening. People are asking for live transmission and so on. So this is different. This has never happened. So because of the nature of it, it is something that will help to have this swearing in extended while this court case is in place. That way, at the end, if Tinubu is said to be the winner at the end by the Supreme Court, so be it. If Obi is, so be it. But we do know that with the evidence that we have in place, that it's not going to be business as usual.
Yeah. Okay, back to you, Mr. Haruna. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I actually just wanted to know that part because for me, just like what happened during the Naira redesign, what kept changing the goalpost had everything to do with pressure. So if we can mount this pressure, since it's like an open, it's not something written in the Constitution, we can put so much pressure, everybody on Twitter, on our broadcasts, everybody talking. After a while, that will just be the national song. Everybody's talking. So Nigerians will start to make a demand saying, looking at what is going on, we want to get to the bottom of this case, and it doesn't matter how many weeks or months. We want to see the bottom because we don't want anybody that is a president-elect to be imposed on us. So because of that, we are not asking, we are not coming out to tell people that we install Obi or Atiku. We are saying we want the one we elected. Let them do the right thing. So to be able to do that, we want the court to finish whatever they are doing. Let's get the verdict. Then the moment they tell us who the winner is, we as Nigerians will say, go ahead and swear the person in. That would be my advice, that going forward, since protest is not the right thing to do, because the people will just take advantage of that and then scatter everything. So the way to do it is to speak out using the facts that are on ground and the fact that the case is now in court. We have waited. We didn't raise any uproar. People have been patient, and now we just want justice. And for justice to reign, we want room to be given to the justice, and somebody else can hold up, almost like a placeholder, but they call it interim. So in that case, Nigeria won't collapse just because we have 3 months to wait. Nigeria may possibly collapse if they prematurely force anybody against the wish of the people. They are just quiet waiting for this case. But I'm telling you, if they do the wrong thing, wrong move, no Peter Obi, because the thing is beyond Peter Obi. People will now decide to take their nation back, and it will be too much for them. So to avoid that, a state of anarchy, I will advise that they should shift the day forward and allow the court to do what they need to do. They have already assured Nigerians that they will expedite this thing. There's already a commitment from them, and even the lawyers have said they will cooperate to ensure that everything goes, is sped up, to ensure that, because the case is very obvious, Aisha and everybody, on this Zoom call. It's not a complicated case. So it's only the delay tactic so that the date will come and overrun. But that if we can stay that and stop that so that it is to a later date, I can tell you, I see that at the end, by the time everything comes out and the facts come out, it will be just a game over.
Thank you so much. Just to read a comment here from Uche on YouTube, he said, we should institute the doctrine of necessity in the case of May 29. The current president or next in line of leadership should hold sway while the court cases are dealt with. I think that's exactly the same thing that Haruna Goro is talking about. We will be rounding up this in no time. But before we go on, I think those who have joined us early, if there's anyone that wants to say something, I'll come to you, Sydney. I saw you wanted to say something. Thank you so much, started ago. Thank you, bros. God bless you. Yeah. So for the anyone,
before you go, this is Mama H.O. you spoke to over the phone.
Okay, fantastic. So let's we'll hear from you. In the meantime, let's hear from Sydney. Go ahead, Sydney.
I think I just wanted
to... sorry. Oh, I think H.O., you were talking to Haruna, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I called him. This is the face that called you.
Yeah.
We met in Dr. Damage's show, and I later got your number and I reached out to you. I want to sincerely say thank you for everything. Thank you for standing for truth. Thank you for standing for justice. Thank you for standing for fairness. Same thing is applicable to you, Felix. Thank you for standing for truth. Thank you for standing for fairness. Thank you for standing against impunity and wickedness and evil that has ravaged our country and make us a caricature in the global world. Sydney, I used to see you on TVC. I guess I'm right.
Damages show. Damages
Or do
show.
you look like somebody? And I
Dr.
used to see
Damages.
you in one of the.
Oh, she said in Dr. Damage's show.
No,
Dr.
it's
Damages.
Arona. Him, I thought I was seeing him in one of these TV
He
stations.
too is
Okay.
also on Dr. Damage's. That's what he's saying, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything. For standing for justice, for standing for fairness, and standing against wickedness, impunity of the highest order that has turned our nation to caricature. Like I said before the election, I sent them a message in AY show. I beg the INEC man, this is not business as usual. Do not touch this mandate. They refuse.
Sorry, Echo. Sorry, just can I be allowed to exit?
Sorry, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today.
God bless you. Thank you, everyone.
Bless you. We will be rounding up. We just take a few this thing from her, and then we get back to Sydney, and that was it. That will be it for today.
I told them not to tamper with this mandate, and I let them know this is not business as usual. Because the destiny of my children, when you hear the word my children, they are the younger generation. I told them you stole their destiny, you gave them hopelessness, you gave them poverty and lack. And because they want to survive, they engage themselves in criminality to survive. And the only way for us to stop them from doing the criminality is to give them a good governance. They choose a candidate for themselves. They work so hard for it. And one person that is quartered to the grave ganged up and decided to take that. And you think Papa God will just let it go? And to even think that some blood of some people who are supposed to be alive today with me and you went the drain just because they want to exercise their rights to vote. And I think the blood will just go and sleep and not ask for vengeance. They will have come to ask for vengeance. And vengeance will they get? In as much as I'm concerned, there are two sets of sons representing us in the judiciary right now. The one led by Kiamu, I call them Senior Association of Non-Entity. That is what their son represents. Because if he doesn't represent that, how dare they? How dare they? That we have smart, intelligent children, hardworking, that have resilient personality, that should put our name as a nation in the global world. We now reduce that to Yahoo. We reduce that. Do you know what it takes to become a Yahoo? It takes smartness to do that job. So, if they can be so creative, a lot of them have not even seen university. A lot of them is just primary school. But they are so smart. What happens if we give them platform to learn and use that knowledge? Who is Elion Musk to compete with these children? Who? Who is Big Gay to compete with her? When Nigeria was Nigeria, we go out there to play football. We are 5-0 behind. My children play the ball and they win. Those were the days of Yekini.
We'll get back to those days, definitely. Sis, I know you're so passionate about Nigeria.
It's a must.
We will not give up.
I was told, history told me that in 1979, our naira is 20 compared to $1. That how much superior we had over these people. And they knew that. Then they give some people mirror. They give their granite oil. and they start to sell us. But we say no to this nonsense. Africa continent must be great again. Nigeria, we are the giant of
Absolutely. And we
Africa.
will
That is
get
who
there.
we are. We are
We will get
claiming
there.
back our birthright. And it starts with this mandate.
We will get that mandate back. Thank you so much, sis. It's always, you're always so passionate about what's happening, and I do feel your pain. And anytime we talk, I know how much you care about Nigeria. Thank you so much. Sydney, I'll come to you quickly as we round up because we're over the time now.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I didn't forget to thank you, my sister Aisha.
Yeah.
She is the next governor of Edo State.
Okay, I think it's a good one. What I want to say is that I think based on May 29th, it's not sacrosanct, it's something that Abdulsalami set in place just for handing over. And so if pressure is mounted, things can shift. What I want to say is that it's an irony of a nation that we're existing, and the pressure has to continue. Just today, a news came out about the issue of the Niger Delta spill that was done, and Shell, the case has been thrown out in the UK. Shell is not responsible. Why was the case thrown out? Because of the delay in responding back to the case, and you wonder, how can a president, a nation, not go and fight for its people so that those damages that have been done by Shell Petroleum is brought back to the people? It tells you the level we have got in as a nation. Look at what the so-called assembly has done. They've just rubber stamped everything, giving the president so much money through ways and means. Basically, what they are doing is, mortgaging the future of many generations. Even when Peter Obi comes in as president, he's going to take a whole lot of maneuvering to start scaling back the level of economic and social damage that has been done to this country. But one thing we have as a people is that we're a resilient people. We're people that have never, irrespective of what happens, the Nigerian is still perseveres through everything. This is our last stand as a people. This is our last stand. The truth is that if we don't get it this time around, to take another, like I said, to take another generation, for a new generation to really come out to say, okay, we need to fight. I think we need to be positive. And thank you very much, Aisha, for the time. And Felix and Madam Hecho, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come to you, Felix, to not now yet, to give the final closing remarks before we go on. But just to say, we have quite a number of viewers on YouTube. Right now, we have 857. At one time, we had 900 and something. Just to say to our viewers on YouTube, please, if you can just kindly help us to help me to, what do they call that button? Like button. Could you just click on the like button? Because what it does is that it's able to bring it to a lot of people's attention, and they're able to watch that, because there's so many messages that have been shared here. This is my first time I'm even asking anyone to click on any like button, but I just feel on this one, because there's so many messages that people need to hear, and which have been spoken by so many other people in terms of having that hope on, in terms of going on. So it's quite important for others to be able to also share. You can also screenshot it if you're using Apple or anyhow. Just screenshot it, put it on your pages, just share the messages. Let's get the messages to a whole lot of people. That would so help. And it's really saddening hearing what Sydney had to say just now on the issue of the ruling in UK, because a landmark ruling was gotten when I think it was in UK when it was judged that there is a duty of care on Shell and all that, because that's the main thing. Because the first thing you need to establish is that there's a duty of care, and so where there's a duty of care, then it's mandatory that Shell itself is the one that needs to do everything to protect the people. Because if you have a situation whereby there is no duty of care, and so there's nothing of you. So just explain, and this is me, Famzi now. So just explain a little bit to somebody that if for example, I'm walking down a road and I see someone drowning, maybe I see a child drowning, and I decide to just sit in front of that place and refuse to help that person, there's no duty of care on me, and so no, the law is not going to prosecute me. But if that child is my child, and I sat down and I saw the child drowning, and I just watched the child drown, there is a duty of care on me because I'm the parent to that child, and so the law will prosecute me. So I remember I was so excited when that was established. For us to actually throw this away, it just says what we are as a nation and how much we really don't care. And one of the things we also, all of us have to be very mindful is that as soon as Peter Obi gets into office, by the grace of God, every one of us, we must become active citizens. If he says A, we must check that the A is it capital letter A or small letter A? I say a lot of people feel that, oh, the moment somebody gets into office and you have to close mark the person. You have to be there checking. And one of the things I would tell you so much about Mr. Peter Obi, and which is something when he did the is it that TV, what do they call it, Mbelebe something, when it was like, oh, that's how I'm always working with Aisha. I want to hear the bad news. I want she'll be on my this thing. He loves to hear from critics. He loves it. And people always say to me when we're saying, why are you always right? I say, because immediately he finished any program or whatever, I'm sending him what was the feedback on the program, what he did right, what he didn't do very well, what he needs to improve upon. And it's someone that likes that. And it's not just with me alone, everyone. He's calling you to say, don't tell me, so we tell you, don't tell me about what people are saying that what is it they are saying that I'm not doing well? How do I improve on that? And so that's the kind of leader we are looking for, who will constantly continue to improve himself, who cares and who will want to do the needful for Nigeria. At this moment, I'm calling on Felix to give us the closing remark. As soon as Felix is done, we'll be going over. For those of you on YouTube, please don't forget, click on the like button. Thank you so much.
I just have a question for Sydney. Is it possible to appeal that decision? What do we need to do? Do we just let go, or what do we need to do?
Yeah, the thing was that the time duration had elapsed for them to do that. So you see, then you begin to wonder, where was the federal government? Where was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? So it's sad that the local people are suffering because of incompetence of a government. So sometimes some things are like that. You are just lost out, because you're dealing with a big corporation. So it tells you how our mindset is so warped that a country cannot say we're going to fight for this because it's not about us, but it's about the local communities in the riverine areas that have been in Ogoni land and all those places that have been impoverished. So it tells us that that is why we are fighting. That's why we're saying, not again. The government has to change.
So can a civil organization retake it up?
I don't know more.
But let's find out. We can find out that offline. Okay, now
I was just gonna chip in something before Felix.
Okay, then.
I'm gonna be really fast. Just like I said before, and I would like to advise my fellow Nigerians to understand that this is not a time to think or believe on what people or any pastor or any imam might come out and say that, oh, it's the will of God for us to accept criminality or these people to be our leaders. No, we are not going to accept that any longer. We are going to allow the judiciary do their job. We are going to allow the judiciary make sure that they stand as the last hope of the common man. And just to chip in a word on what Sydney said on the oil spillage in the Niger Delta, I mean, they had the same problem. I think the British Petroleum, there was a time there was an oil spillage somewhere in Louisiana. The court here in the United States made sure that these people coughed out billions of dollars for the people of Louisiana. And the oil spillage in the Niger Delta have been going on for years. The federal government, we've had an APC government that have been in power for 8 good years. And my problem with these people is they only care about the money they are going to loot, buy houses in Dubai and London and in New York and paying cash, diverting billions all over the world. But they don't care about the common man in the Niger Delta.
So guys, you can see that if we don't stand up to take back our country, honestly, these politicians will destroy Nigeria, you know, on a perpetual basis. They will just destroy Nigeria totally. And I want to really use this opportunity to tell the youths, let's not give up. Let's not give up. Let's continue in this fight until a new Nigeria is born. And for those of us from the north, the northerners, the northern youths, please stand up. Gone are the days when we stick to ethnicity, we stick to religion. This time around, let Nigeria be our focus, as in to redeem this country. Let us all come together. Because I could remember somebody came to my comment section to ask that why is it that the people from the north, they are not standing up to fight for this new Nigeria that we are talking about. I know we have a handful of them. We have some of them who are doing the same thing that we are doing. But honestly, we have to really call on them to come out en masse and join, you know, this movement. We need a new Nigeria. We need a new Nigeria. We can't continue like this. You can imagine Buhari is in the UK to meet with his doctor. Tinubu is in France to meet with his doctors. So guys, who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Fellow Nigerians, who is fooling who? So guys, let's rescue Nigeria. If really we love this country, let's fight to rescue Nigeria. And you know, a new Nigeria is possible. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.